is ice cold. It's a fast lane life and on a roll. All us race fans are here for just one thing, to watch 28,000 horses sing. But no timeouts, no dress code, no right turn. It's party time. No blinking, no yawning. I got a Winston Cup, one track by. Right now it's Daytona time. All the truck drivers are ready to go. Revving their engines all in a row. Soon they'll be running 3 or 4 wide, trying to hitch up on the next guy, with just one thing on their mind, to hold that Winston Cup up high. No time out, no dress code, no right turns. It's party time. No blinking, no yawning. I got a Winston Cup, one track by. Right now it's Daytona time. One track by, right now it's Daytona time. A Winston Cup, one track by. Right now it's Daytona time. Oh yeah. No timeouts, no dress code, no right turn. It's party time. No blinking, no yawning. I got a Winston Cup, one track mile. Yeah, and right now it's racing time. Yeah, telling an only crowd. I love it loud, I love it loud. This is it right here, sir.
I like it, though, man. You're lucky man.
Hello there, and welcome to Victory Lane one more time. And we'd like to apologize once again for a guest not showing up. Chris there, the marketing director for Albany-Saratoga Speedway and Bellows Falls Speedway, was scheduled to be here this evening, but I know he had a busy weekend, and I'm sure we will have him on in the future. Once again, our on-the-road track, Victory Lane track correspondent, Jim LaPoint, is going to fill in once again. Thanks for coming tonight, Jim.
Oh, you're welcome.
And, you know, most of the seasons, most everybody's season is over, and it's time for a lot of the open competition shows.
Yeah.
There's still some great shows coming up. For instance, this coming weekend, if you're watching the show live, May 27th and 28th, Thunder Road International Speedbowls having the Milk Bowl.
Yeah.
And you're going up to that.
I'm going up Sunday for the Milk Bowl. I guess Saturday is the qualifying, time trials, and I guess say time trial, whatever. But I'm going to go up Sunday for the Milk Bowl.
And this will be your first trip for the Milk Bowl, correct?
For the Milk Bowl, yeah.
It's awesome. The first, well, not the first Milk Bowl I ever went to. Probably the first Milk Bowl I went to as an adult, because I went to a million of them when I was a kid. But the first one I ever went to was an adult, you know, like without my parents. Dave Dion, Dynamite Dave Dion, Hudson, New Hampshire. He now lives up in Milton, Vermont. Driving back then the number 27, and it was wasn't the Berlin City Ford. It was a C.J. Stewart and Son Ford. Won all 3 segments. Yeah. And for those of you who've never seen the Milk Bowl, it's 3 50-lap feature events for the late model sportsmen. They'll qualify by time trial, and they'll run a 50-lap race, and then they take and invert the field, which means whoever wins starts last in the next 50-lapper, and the field is just reversed. They run the second 50-lapper, reverse the field again, and then run the third 50-lapper. And then the overall winner comes out, who averaged out the best of all 3 races. You want to talk about some outstanding racing. It's, of course, the racing at Thunder Road is beyond compare to what you see at any other track anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's, on a regular evening, it's spectacular.
It is.
It's a great track. I love going there.
It's, you know, the discipline of the racers and just the way the whole thing is run. I mean,
well, that's what makes it enjoyable. I mean, it's a beautiful setting to begin with. But you know, when you go there, they're not going to play games. You don't have to wait for a 12-minute caution, people arguing, and you can actually go there and watch some action. Mm-hmm. And that's what I enjoy about going there. Because if I live in Keene, New Hampshire. If I go there to make that trip, I know it's not for nothing. So I mean, it's time well invested to go there and watch it, because I've never been disappointed there.
And you know, I've got a friend, I'm going to tell you, Louis Rivera. Louis goes up there, and the minute he gets through the gate, you got to get out of his way. Because I mean, he'll knock old ladies out of the way to get to them French fries. That's, yeah, all the way up to Barry, Vermont. Louis talking about the French fries. Mm-hmm. He'll talk about the racing all the way home, but all the way up, he's talking about the French fries. Hey, folks, we're going to take you up to Thunder Road right now and show you some late model sportsman racing. Okay, hey, late model sportsman action up at Thunder Road, and you can see right at the end of that race, things get a little bit exciting, and you know, that wasn't a case of anybody driving dirty. The car just got loose, brushed off the wall, and they touched, because you don't see people banging up there.
No. Well, if you noticed in the clip, the guy that spun out, they didn't drop the caution.
No.
Because, why? Because
That's right.
what he's going to, you know, at other tracks, they drop a caution, and then he'll start up.
And then he'll start up and drive away.
Yeah, and I hate that. It just drives me nuts. And then it's 10 minutes before they get everybody lined up again, and like, why bother? You know?
Well, you know, and that's another thing with the discipline of Thunder Road, the great racing up there. They'll have 24, they have a full field in every division. And of course, they're mini stocks. They call them the Allen Lumber Street stocks. They'll have 38, 40, 45 of them. They'll start them all at once. And even when they have a caution and a big pile up and people get all over the place, you don't have to see somebody get out on the track and separate them and put them in their position. They know where they're supposed to be and they go there.
Well, it's almost like they go to some other tracks and practice. And when they're mature enough to go racing, I think that's where they go. Because they're drivers like anybody else, but how come these guys are less confused than other tracks? It's because they know there's a consequence. Like I don't know if I told you before, but I was at a race this year when it was a late model. He spun out and backed up on the track and sat there and waited for the caution. When the caution came out, he drove off. No consequence.
And he was allowed to race.
Yeah, he should have been told to load it and go home. And,
Can you imagine if Peter pulled that at Thunder Road? Peter pulled that last year, he still wouldn't be racing.
no, you sit by the flagman next week and have him explain what it is, I guess. Because, I mean, that's throwing it in your face.
Yeah, it is.
The track I was at, they just, like, I don't know, they like it, I guess. I don't know. More than I did, I'm sure.
Hey, if you folks want to see some great racing this weekend, head right up to Barrie, Vermont. It's, you know, go right up Interstate 91 to 89 North, get off exit 7, head right down into Barrie, go up on Quarry Hill. Thunder Road, it's called the Nation's Side of Excitement, and there's a reason for it. The next clip we're going to show tonight, some dirt track racing, and it's them. These are going to be some modifieds from up at Canaan. We were up there. It was a Wednesday night show. Yeah. And like the Thunder Road clip, I was able to stand on the back straightaway to do it. And it gives you more of a background to look at, you know, as you see the grandstand and the fans and stuff. But we're going to take you up there now and see some Canaan dirt modified action. All right, that was a special Wednesday show up at the Canaan Dirt Track here, and we were up there for that.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be quite an exciting night.
It was.
First lap of the modified feature, Paul Parker come flipping almost into our lap.
I
And,
thought that was the last race I was going to.
the track was, as you see, it was very, very rough for the heat races. They ran the modified heats first, quick and special show. You saw Dave Camara there. Kenny Tremont was there, the West Sand Lake, New York, the Sand Lake Slingshot, Brett the Jet Hearn. I mean, there were some big guns there. It was a big dollar show. And they got ready for the heats, and they ran the modifieds first, of course, because a lot of them people traveled from a long way, and they wanted to be able to get them out of there at an early time. And the track was so rough that after the modified heat races were over, they had to grade the track before the rest of the heat races. And it was pretty miserable that night. I mean, it's for those guys.
Yeah.
After they graded the track, it got beautiful.
Yeah, once they got out there and got the chunks off, it was great. Came into itself after that.
Yeah.
Well, would they run the mini stocks?
Mm-hmm.
They had them out there for a while, and then it was all set.
Yeah. That's right. They brought them out to work the track in after they watered it and graded it.
Yeah.
And now, the modified flip that we're telling you about, at the outro of this show, during the credits, you will see an orange car come flipping right towards your camera, and that's exactly the one we were talking about. And it was a lot closer than the camera shows.
A lot closer, yeah. One more flip, he'd have been in our lap.
Yes, he would have. No question about it. And there was one fellow that was there that he probably could have lifted the car off on us, but...
Well, he ripped the roof off with his hand.
But it was still attached.
That was pretty impressive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't be the kind of fellow you want to get mad at you, Teresa.
No. No, and the roof was intact because the car had flipped. I mean, he ripped that thing off from start.
Oh, let's see. Our next clip that we're going to show you tonight, for you people that watch Channel 8 here in Bellows Falls on a regular basis, you know there's a show called Stan's Live Bites, and our own Stan the Man Davis from right here at Channel 8 is the track videographer for Claremont Speedway. And if any of you need any footage from Claremont Speedway this year, you can get a hold of the studio, get a hold of Stan, because he is a track videographer, and that's where we're going next. We're going to show you some racing action from Claremont Speedway. right, that was Brent Allard taking home the street stock win up at Claremont, and you get to see some racing at Claremont this year.
Yeah.
And if you like open wheel asphalt modifieds, that's the place to go in the Northeast right now.
It's one of the few I know of that have, I think, modifieds every week.
Yes. And they are NASCAR Winston Racing Series modifieds.
Right.
And weekly Racing Series modifieds. That's, you know, there's something that's coming up that we're going to have to get out of the habit of saying is Winston Cup. It's going to be the Nextel Cup.
It took me 10 years to figure out a Winston Cup was.
Yeah, because they used to call it Grand National Racing.
Yeah.
Now it's the Busch Grand National, and it's the Winston Cup. And,
Whoever's got the most money is what it is.
Yes. And you know, it's kind of a surprise. I mean, let's face it, that sport has become a business. There's no question. Winston Cup, or, you know, the Nextel Cup racing has become a business right down the line. And it hasn't killed the sport, but it's certainly put a dent in it.
Well, they're like spec cars. They all look alike. One isn't going to get an advantage over another because they're going to put a stop to that. Actually, the only thing it's got going for them is the personalities. You know, like Dale Earnhardt, Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart, and
Ryan Newman.
What gets me is, like, you know, people often ask me, well, who's your favorite driver now that Dale Earnhardt is anymore? I don't have one. They're not allowing them to be themselves, like Kevin Harvick. Look at his record before they clamped down on him. Look at it now. Tony Stewart the same way. Look what he was doing, and until they clamped down on him.
Now, in their defense, though, what the NASCAR officials' defense is going to be, all right, we've clamped down on Kevin Harvick. Now he's second in points. We clamped down on Tony Stewart last year. He won the championship. And that's going to be their fight back to this. But
it's not, they don't have that standout personality like, you know, like years ago, like, I mean, Waltrip, Yarborough, they forgot what them guys are like, you know. Like, today they look at them as all gentlemen, you know, like Cale
And they
Yarborough.
certainly weren't.
No.
They certainly weren't.
But I just hate the thought of them squashing. You know, they got to do something, but I mean, not to the extent they do. I think what the last Havoc show was costing what, $35,000.
Yes, it was him and Rudd down at Richmond.
Yeah.
And you know, I can see part of that for the simple reason it is short track racing. I mean, you're going to have that happen in short track. Look at Bristol. Even the winner goes home with dents at Bristol. And it's the best race in the series.
It is.
I mean, there isn't a better race, you know. It's, all right, they get the super speedways and everybody gets stretched out over a 2.5-mile course with their restrictor plates.
Yeah, well, look at the difference between Martinsville and Bristol. It's the same size track. And look at the difference that the banking makes compared to a flat track. And I've been to both. I've been to the Old Outlaws when they raced it, but I haven't been to a Winston Cup race yet. But I mean, the stands, you look up and it's like being in the middle of New York City. It's unbelievable the amount of people that they can put in there. Now, I don't know if there's a football stadium around that has that many people.
No, it's true. That's yeah, I think you know most of your football stadiums get 80,000 or something like that.
I think they put 140,000 on a half-mile track. I mean, it's the only track I know of that people ride up the elevators to get to the seats.
Yes, and you kind of have to.
Yeah, like Martinsville has a good crowd for what it is, but I mean it's not. You can see the difference. I mean, like the Homestead, that was basically a flat track. I think they went to 20 degrees. That'll be, I'm sure it's going to be a better show.
Oh, absolutely.
But you want to see some action, you know?
Exactly, and you know,
well, like I said, the cars are all the same. They're basically all the same cars. What have you got left? You only have the personalities left. It's not like years ago when the Wood Brothers had a Mercury and they were winning, or Richard Petty with his Plymouth, or you know, the Dodge. You don't have that anymore. The only thing that they have going for them is the personalities, and then they're trying to squash them.
it's true. Now, the next argument that's going to come up with everybody is the big argument that's going on right now, the point system. Now, You got a guy like Matt Kenseth, okay? No question, he's done a great job. He's finishing up in the top 5, top 10 every week, and the points do award consistency. What I don't like about the point system is, in my opinion, Matt Kenseth is a sandbagger. He'll get up, run in the top 10 or the top 5, and he'll say, this is good enough. I'm just going to run for the points. If there was a bigger advantage through the top 5, you know, right now, the guy that finishes second, the guy who can finish second, lead the most laps, and get as many points as the guy that wins the race. Yeah. And with only 5 points apart heading down through them first 10 positions, a guy like Matt Kenseth doesn't have to race for the win. And that's kind of what racing's all about, is to race for the win. And I think if they spread the top points out a little bit further, it gave your first few positions a bigger advantage over, as you know, a bigger drop-off as they go down through, it would invite more of these people to go to the front instead of, you know, I'm just going to ride right here in 7th.
If Matt Kenseth was 10 points ahead of second place, would anybody be discussing it?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I like it the way it is, because, like I said, if there are a few points, and there's been years, I think like Earnhardt and Matt, I think we were like 12 points. Everybody's excited over it. Not one person questions it. But you let someone, you know, I think Kenseth's won 1 race, but he hasn't wrecked, he hasn't dropped out. To me, that's got to be worth something. But like I said, if the points were closer, no one talks about the point race. But if he gets a big jump on someone, then somebody, well, there's something wrong with it. There has to be something wrong with it. How come there wasn't something wrong with it when there was 12 points difference? But I mean,
now,
you know, I don't want to see him give points for qualifying.
No, I don't either.
There's only a handful that can qualify on the pole, and that's not fair to the guys that don't have the budget to put that resource into just qualifying.
Right.
And but I like the system the way it is, I think.
Yeah. Now, you know, one of the things you said is, all right, he hasn't wrecked, and he hasn't had the DNF, but he hasn't raced either. He's gotten up there into the top 10 and said, hey, that's it. I'm not racing anymore. I'm riding right here. And that's, you know, it's all about winning. You know, it used to be, in the old days, they'd say, you know, winning isn't everything, but second place sucks. They don't look at it that way anymore. You know, you take a guy like Kenseth.
Yeah, but I mean, like
top 10 is fine. You know, if you'd have told Richard Petty in his day, or Cale Yarborough, or Dale Earnhardt, you know what, if you go out there and finish 5th today, we're going to be proud of you. They'd probably knock your teeth out. You know?
But I mean, like Kenseth in Daytona, he flipped. And then he had that engine explode.
You mean Ryan Newman?
Ryan Newman. He flipped at Daytona. His engine exploded.
And he's had a lot of DNFs. No question.
Right. He's got 7 wins.
And 7 DNFs.
But look at the time he didn't finish. I mean,
right. And it isn't just Newman. It's, you know, it's the whole package. And the other thing is that back in the mid-'80s, 85, 84, and 85, 1985, Bill Elliott won 11 super speedway races.
Yep.
Didn't win the championship.
Yeah.
There was a big hassle about the points back then.
But that's when Darrell Waltrip was eating up the short tracks.
Yes.
But everybody saw Bill Elliott win 11 super speedways. Nobody bothered, because back then nobody liked Darrell Waltrip.
Exactly.
You know,
and plus
they called him Jaws.
Coverage they didn't have.
Well,
so you didn't get to see it.
Exactly. You didn't have the coverage back then. But nobody ever talked about the success that he had at the other tracks. The success that he had at the short tracks was just as good, except super speedways draw people's attention. And that's what you know, do you talk about Martinsville, you talk about Talladega. You mention Talladega to people and they know.
Right. And Martinsville is kind of, and of course we're just the opposite because we like the short track better, but
exactly.
You're right, to the average fan, they want to hear about Daytona, Talladega.
But I mean, I waited 30 years to go to Daytona. And before they dropped the green flag, if I got back there again, it was okay. Because it was so huge. Well, I had someone tape it and I come home and watched it. Because the place is so big. I mean, growing up here, you know, I'm used to short tracks, you know. I suppose if you're down south and you go to them tracks, you get used to it, but I go down there and I'm overwhelmed at this thing, you know. You know, their tri-oval is as big as 3 tracks that we have.
Oh, God, yes.
You know.
absolutely.
But I mean, you know, you speak about Daytona and Talladega, Atlanta, Charlotte. People draw more attention to that than they'll do like a Martinsville or a Kansas or a Texas. I mean, Kansas, I couldn't even tell you when they run there. I don't think I could tell you the size of the track. You know, it's obviously I've watched them race there, but apparently it wasn't too memorable. You know, but you know, like Darlington, they took they didn't take the race away; they took the date.
Yeah.
So it's not the
no
Labor
more
Day.
Labor Day. No more Southern
It's only
500.
been there for 54 years.
It needs to stay. It should have.
You know.
But that race went to California. It's a bigger market.
Oh, absolutely.
And Mike Hilton said that right on TV. It was a bigger market.
And
you know, and there's where the business end of it is taking over the sport end of it again.
yeah, but,
You know?
but when you leave your roots, you're going out to new ventures. That's new to people. What happens in 10 years from now when the newness wears off? It doesn't catch on with these people.
What happened?
Racing's been around a long time. If you throw it in somebody's face, it's new to them, because obviously they didn't know it existed or didn't like it before. And if you make it cool for your neighbors, you got to go to a race because it's cool. Well, they might go a couple times to shut you up, but I mean, if they don't like it, they're not going to come back.
Well, what happens, you know, like you said, they took the Southern 500 out of Labor Day weekend, out of Dover, Darlington. What happens when the season doesn't start at Daytona?
Yeah.
If that ever happens.
Well, the Franz family owns that. That'll stay there. They're not going to move that. But I mean, I'd rather see someone win the Southern 500 than the Daytona 500. To me, the Southern 500 had
Character.
It was the first one. I mean, Daytona is hyped up.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, there's a lot better racing than Daytona. I mean, Daytona's great, but it's hyped up. You know, they call it their biggest race. But I'd rather watch the Southern 500.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But you know, like you said, there's better than that. But it's great. You know, one thing anybody out there can quote me on, what I've always lived by is the worst race I ever saw in my life was absolutely wonderful.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Hey folks, it's time to show you our on the road segment with our own track correspondent, Jim LaPoint, and we're going to take you up to Canaan and do that now.
Welcome to Victory Lane on the road. We will be taking you to different tracks, dirt and pavement. For those of you race fans and for the new fans. Today we're at the Canaan Fairgrounds. There are two tracks here. There is the dirt and the pavement. Today we're at the dirt track. It's a quarter-mile semi-banked oval, and they run 5 divisions here. They run Crow Street, modified, late models, 4 cylinders. They also have the Sportsman Coupe. And for those of you who would like a piece of history and wondered what your father and grandfather saw when they were racing, come here and watch the Sportsman's Coupe. And it really doesn't take much of imagination to see what they saw 30 or 40 years ago. We'll be taking you around the track and through the pit and giving you some layout of the place so you'll have an idea what's here. And then I'll give you, at the end, after we go around the track, I'll give you some information, or you can contact or a telephone number, and we'll see what we can do.
Last Sunday I finally got her hooked. When I turned up the TV, she put down her book. She said how much she likes number 2. Thought he looked pretty fast, and to her he sure was cute. And though I questioned her good taste, at least she's watching every race, 'cause it's a kick in the asphalt, burning up the blacktop. When the green flag drops, her heart flies. Now she don't wonder why I'm feeling to get wild. She likes her Sundays fast, 'cause it's a kick in the asphalt. 'cause it's a kick in the asphalt. It's a kick in the asphalt. It's a kick in the asphalt. Yeah, now I think sometimes that my wife's the crazy one. Kick in the asphalt.
Okay, that concludes that little bit of a tour. Every Friday night at 7 p.m. you can watch them run here at the Canaan Fairgrounds. And if you need any more information, go to www.canaanfairgrounds.com, or you can call 603-532-4502. And thanks for sharing this time with us, and see you again.
All right, and that was Jim doing our on-the-road segment, Canaan Dirt Track, and a little rough bouncing around there, wasn't it?
It was. It was. I thought you were going to lose the camera.
I thought I was going to lose my brain. You know, and I get an ear that big and a brain that big, and I figured it'd come by right now.
I'm looking forward to doing more of them.
Yeah, so hopefully in the future, we want to get a hold of Mr. Herzig to see if we can do Thunder Road. Butch Elms has given us the okay to go up to Bear Ridge. I've got to get a hold of the new owner of the Pine Speedway, which is in Rumney. Chris Thayer, who was supposed to be here tonight, we were going to set it up to do Albany-Saratoga and Devil's Bowl. And then maybe we can get over to Lee in the White Mountains.
Albany-Saratoga is a nice track.
I've never had the opportunity to get there.
Pretty place.
That is another thing, folks. I know, you know, as last few weeks you people have been watching, we have a lot more asphalt to show you than dirt. And we don't have dirt track videographers. And if any of you out there are interested, if you'd like to go see some dirt track racing for free next year, and all you got to do is videotape it for Victory Lane, call the studio here and give them your name. We do need a lot of videographers for next year. We can set you up to go to the racetrack every week, and you'll get in for free, you and your guest, your significant other, however you want to work it, your best friend, for the tracks that we don't have videographers for. We do have videos coming as soon as Chris Thayer, who is scheduled to be here tonight, will be giving us Albany-Saratoga and Devil's Bowl. So we will be pretty well set on those. We do have Devil's Bowl footage now from stuff that he's given us this year. But we need somebody for Bear Ridge. I think we're going to talk Fact TV 8's own Stan the Man Davis into doing the Canaan Dirt Track next year, hopefully. And we've got, we'd like to thank Yorko Video for the Monadnock videos, and they do a super job, don't they?
No, they do.
Nice people. They come all the way up from Connecticut. They videotape at Monadnock, and very professional. As a matter of fact, Yorko Video from Monadnock Speedway, that's what we're going to show you right now.
Turtle trying to get the jump on Barry Gray, but Gray's got a good run on turn 4. Takes the classic Chevrolet 29 to the front right off turn 2. Wide turn off 4, and it's Gray, Letourneau, Seidema, and Hinckley. Meany missed the 2 car, should have called him. Rick Hamlet from North Attleboro in the 2. Look out, LaPoint has trouble with turn 3. Gets in a little deep, but takes an excursion through the grass. It's still Gray and Seidema. The battle is Hinckley and Letourneau now for 3rd place. Hinckley gets the run into turn 1 and off turn 2 to take over 3rd. Letourneau stays in 4th. Running 5th is Meany, then Gaussier and Hamlin. LaPoint trailing. There's like a lot of people are trying to take advantage of the upper groove. Little or no rain during the week, and after 125 laps last week, a lot of rubber in the upper groove gives them a little bit more traction than they normally get up there. In fact, everybody's going up. Halfway mark past Barry Gray and Jeff Seidema. It looks like everybody in this heat is having trouble in turn 4. They're getting into 3 and then riding way out. Normally they want to come in a little higher in 3 and come out low in 4. But they're working that second move. Hemlin's the one that's working the best down low. White flag is out for Barry Gray, Jeff Seidema, and Les Hinckley. The battle is still for fourth place between the 32 and the 5. Checkered flag coming up. It's Barry Gray for the win. Jeff Seidema. And
all right. Hey, that was pro stock action from Monadnock Speedway. And once again, we would love to thank the fine folks from Yurko Video down in Monadnock Speedway for supplying us with video from that track. And
they're good people.
yes, they are.
Really nice.
And they do a great job videoing, too.
They do.
The videographers that we do have, we're very fortunate to have who we have. You know, it'd be great to get some for the tracks we don't have, but I'm very grateful for the ones we do have. And with any kind of luck, hopefully we'll be able to start getting more Thunder Road videos. You know, hopefully we're going to speak to Mr. Herzig this week, and Jim's going up, as a matter of fact, to the Milk Bowl, and he's going to speak with Mr. Herzig, bring him up a copy of the show, and see what we can do about maybe getting some more Thunder Road videos.
It'd be great to get a couple clips from that every week.
Absolutely.
Because it's such a great place.
It is the great race place, the nation's site of excitement.
It is. But that's a pretty complete package. I mean, there's good food, it's a nice atmosphere, and the racing's great. When I go to a place, I look at the whole package. And that's one of them that has the whole thing.
And you know, you got to be doing something right. When you pick 10,000 people in there every Thursday night.
Oh, I know.
My God.
Yeah, Thursday night. I mean, that's kind of an odd night, and it's successful.
You know, speaking of the late model sportsmen, the Actor drivers, they were down in Monadnock just a few weeks ago. And Tracy Belrose wasn't there, but reading in the race paper, she took one heck of a flip.
I see a picture of that when she was going over.
Yes. That car was destroyed.
It probably ruined your whole day.
Yes. And you know, it did show a picture there. She was standing there talking with the guys afterwards, you know, the other racers. And the last race that you and I went to up there, Tracy Belrose and Pete Fechtow, side by side, the last 15 laps of the feature, no more than a coat of paint between them and never touched. All the way to the checkered flag, and that's...
Well, that's racing.
God, unbelievable.
That's racing, not banging, slamming, or lining up and not doing nothing.
Now, there is some of that action where you can get into that's really good. That's when you're on a dirt track.
Yeah.
Because those guys get into it. And we're going to take you to see some dirt track action now. We're going to take you up to Devil's Bowl and show you some of the Empire State mini sprints.
Machine he won last Saturday in the first heat at the Canandaigua Speedway. But Pat Kerner and Mike Bosco will lead them to the green flag for the first heat at Devil's Bowl Speedway for the Central New York mini sprints. They get underway, and early on go 3 wide. The 122 of Paul Carrazzo Jr. tries to make it 3 wide. He can't do anything with it. Mike Bosco will take the top spot. Jared Fink, coming from the 8th position, has already roared into the 5th spot. They go 3 wide for the 2nd place position for a moment. But the 09 of Pat Kerner makes out best with it. Now the 7X of Ricky Lakowski coming around for that 2nd position. As he can complete the first lap, Ricky Lakowski throws it to the inside. He'll move underneath the 31 of Mike Bosco and take away the top position. Back through the field, fighting for the 4th spot on the outside. The 45 of Brian Howland makes the pass. The 31 of Mike Bosco, you see that silver and black number 31, he's fallen back, had a little bit of engine trouble, and has missed the past few weeks, but he's still running in the 4th spot. 2 laps in the book. Battle for the 2nd place. Red rages on, off turn 2 right now. The 45 of Brian Howland, 2nd in the point so far this season. Moves into the 2nd position here in heat lap number 1. They'll come to the cross flags, which means we've got 3 laps in the books, and we have 3 to go. Ricky Lakowski, only in his 2nd weekend with the Central New York Mini Sprint so far this season, had a little rough going the first time at the Utica Rome Speedway in Vernon, New York, looking to make his first heat win of the season. As the parallel flags come up, we'll get Ricky Lakowski on the stopwatch, see what they can do here at the half mile. The battle is on for the 3rd position. That's the 09 of Pat Kerner to the high side, the 21 of Jared Fink to the low side. The top 4 get handicapped and re-featured for that feature event. They're all safely in the top 4 spot as we get a time for Ricky Lakowski. 17.69, about 103 miles per hour there as the white flag is flying. The top 4 spots, they all have a chance to start on the front row for the feature, which is very important. That 4th position is the battle right now. The 09 of Pat Kerner and the 122 of Paul Carrazzo Jr. coming around. But the checkered flag will go to too. Ricky Lukowski, Brian Howell.
All right, Empire State Mini Sprints, and those little things really get.
Yeah, those things are fast.
I mean, they get it. And they do, you know, a lot of touring. There's the Granite State Mini Sprints, which you can see at the Canaan Dirt Track and up at Bear Ridge in Bradford, Vermont. They used to run them at Jolly Roger. They don't do that anymore over there.
I've never seen them at Jolly. I've watched the flat racing, the motorcycles up there.
Flat tracks, yep. New England Dirt Track Series.
I want to go to watch a motocross up there. I've never seen a motocross live.
You don't know what you're missing. Jolly Roger, right over here in Maryland, New Hampshire. Oh,
I'd love to see one of them. But there's always, it's like on a Sunday, and I usually, you know, watch the Winston Cup race on a Sunday. It's kind of, I plan my week for that.
Well, you know, when they have the motocross over there, especially if they have the NEMA division, the New England Motocross Association, they'll start at 7:30 in the morning, and they'll race until dark.
Yeah.
So you could actually go over there, watch racing till noon, skip right back down Route 10 and watch the Winston Cup race.
Yeah.
Especially, you know, when they have like a Vegas race coming in that doesn't start until 4 o'clock. You can see some great action. They have a jump over there called the Intimidator. And at the end of the outro, the next to the very last clip that we show at the end of this show on the outro, it shows Greenfield, Massachusetts, Todd Rashad. He's following a guy up toward the Intimidator. And they go around, there's a bank corner, and then it comes up to a jump. And this first guy comes over, and Todd Rashad jumps him and actually passes him by going over his head. And you'll see it at the very end of the outro.
So
it's wild.
If we're doing on the road segment there, I'm not doing that with my truck, am I?
No. Well, if you are, you're going to have to find somebody else to hold the camera. Because I've walked over that thing, and I didn't like it. What it is, it's a cliff on the side of the hill.
Yeah.
So they're like, wow, let's make a jump out of it.
That's
so
probably
you come down, and you've got to jump here, and then the cliff is right here. So you're actually, you're jumping, you're probably 40 feet from where the jump is to the ground, and then they've got this thing that looks like a giant thermometer with 5, 10, 15, 20, shows the feet, and you'll see them. They'll jump off that jump and go up like 25 feet from that, and then it's like 40 feet from here down, and it's unbelievable. I mean, they're certifiable.
Or it helps.
We had Todd Rashad on the show way back.
That's probably for the professional riders, though, right?
Yes, only the pro division is allowed to jump the Intimidator.
You're not going to get a 9-year-old kid with his 125 up there.
Right. The younger kids, they're not even allowed to use that part of the course. They block them off at the bottom and they go around instead of going up over it. And the adult divisions, they are allowed to go up over it, but they're not allowed to jump it. They're allowed just to ride over it and go down. Only the pros are allowed to, and by rightly so. I mean, unbelievable.
Well, you wouldn't be around to be a pro if you practiced it, probably.
Had Todd on the show in 1999, and I told him, at the time I was the announcer at Jolly Roger Motorsports Park, and I says, you know what, Todd? I says, it may kill me, but you've got to, you know, throw one of your old junk bikes together and teach me how to do that. I've got to jump that thing just once. It'll probably kill me, but I got to do it. And I ended up not working there anymore. You know, things got changed. I'm an auto racing man. I'm not a motorcycle man.
Yeah.
And I never got to do it. That's why I'm here today.
Well, the only bike races I ever see, I went up there to watch the flat track, the motorcycle on the flat track, and I went to the Canaan Dirt Track one night when they had the flat track races, I think they call them. It's I think it was the same people that went from Jolly Roger.
Pete from down in Winchendon there.
Yeah. And that's the only motorcycle racing I've ever seen. But like I said, I'm not a motorcycle fan anyway. Cause
right, I'm an auto racing fan, and that's what killed me working over there. You know, I'd be working every Saturday and Sunday. It's like, I'm not seeing any car racing. You know. Hey, speaking of car racing, we've got another clip to show you. This time we're going to take you up to the Canaan asphalt track and show you some mini stock action.
3 and 4. He likes it. Green flag in hand. We're racing it. Russell down to the early lead in the 81 and the 29. Bruce Bernhardt follows him. Ricky Blythe in 28 third. As they come out of turn
couple of moves trying to get to the front end. He goes by Tyler Liscord now, but Russell continues on the front end of this one. As he comes out of turn number 4. One more time, Ricky Blythe. In the meantime, looking to get that second spot from Bernhardt. He makes a move to the outside, pulls him up just a little bit, maintains his angle as he does come across the backstretch to fill the third spot. Well, Russell still up front with 381 machine. Ricky Blythe trying to make something happen on the outside, just not there at the moment. Now the third speed.
And yes, for those of you wondering, that fat guy waving the checkered flag was yours truly. Hey, and for those of you that would like to see some racing this weekend and you don't want to make the trip all the way up to Barrie, Vermont to Thunder Road, come on up to Canaan, New Hampshire. The Canaan Asphalt Track is having the Grand Slam of Racing. That's 2 days of racing, 10 divisions, September 27th and 28th. That's this coming weekend for those of you that are watching this live. And there's going to be modifieds, pro stocks, late models, super streets, mini stocks, full-size enduro, four-cylinder enduro, Southern New England modifieds, New England Legend Series, and New England Dwarf cars. And that's 10 divisions of qualifying on Saturday and 10 divisions of feature racing on Sunday. And Saturday night at the Canaan Fair Hall, there's going to be a catered party, catered by Harbor Fresh Seafoods, and live music by the Prentice Hill Band, who's Carl from right over here at the Minuteman Cafe. And that's all coming up this weekend up at Canaan, New Hampshire Speedway. Jim, we've about run out of time again, but I know you're going to make it up to the Milk Bowl, and there's still a lot of good racing coming up. The Oktoberfest at Lee, the World Series of Racing at Thompson. And the more guests that don't show up, the more we'll get to see you here on Victory Lane. Thank you for coming in tonight.
Well, my pleasure.
Okay.
Meet you next time.
And for all of you out there, hey, see you at the races.
That stock car boy, he too much to believe. You know he always got an extra pack of cigarettes rolled up in his t-shirt sleeve. He got a tattoo on his arm that say baby. He got another one that just say hey. But every Sunday afternoon he is a dirt track demon in a 57 Chevrolet. Oh, rapid roar, that stock car boy, he the best driver in the land. He say that he learned to race the stock car by running shine out of Alabama. Oh, the demolition derby and the figure eight is easy money in the bank. Compared to running from the man in Oklahoma City with a 500-gallon tank. Oh, Oh, rapid roar, that stock car boy, he ain't too much to believe. You know he always got an extra pack of cigarettes rolled up in his t-shirt sleeve. He got a tattoo on his arm, say, baby. He got another one that just say, hey. Yeah, Sunday afternoon, he is a dirt track demon in a 57 Chevrolet. Yeah, he runs so cool, that racing fool. He don't know what fear's about. He do 130 miles an hour, smiling at the camera with a toothpick in his mouth. He got a girl back home named Dixie Dawn, but he got honeys all along the way. And you ought to hit him screaming for the dirt track demon in a 57 Chevrolet. Oh, rapid roar, that stock car boy, he ain't too much to believe. You know he always got an extra pack of cigarettes rolled up in his t-shirt sleeve. He got a tattoo on his arm, say, baby. He got another one that just say, hey. But every Sunday afternoon he is a dirt track demon in a 57 Chevrolet.